Hey, welcome to an LA Life podcast. Actually recording this on Tuesday. Today's the 21st, but you're going to see it on the 22nd. So you'll see it tomorrow, but we're trying to get this in on a Tuesday today. As always, I hope your week's going well. It's been nice. Weather's been hot. Hopefully you get outside a little bit. Maybe it's too hot for you and you have to stay inside. I don't know what that looks like. But today, I just got back from a funeral, and one of the firemen in town had been battling cancer for 2 years, and I say cancer won. It did, but he actually won. He had great faith in the Lord, and so we know that to be absent from the body is to be present with the Lord, while his wife and 3 kids, they're going to have to, as they learn now to live life without him, it's going to be a challenge. It'll be a struggle for them. Like I said, he knew the Lord, and so that's a great thing. But then one of the things that I got to do today was I was able to just kind of set back. I wasn't doing anything. I was there, and I got to watch all the firemen come through, and there's a brotherhood that exists between those firemen. But not only firemen, we had police officers that were there, and there's just something special about a civil servant, if you will. There's a family, and there's a family unit. They supported one another, and so it was really good. I mean, it was good to see that, good to watch all of that, and to be able to participate kind of from afar and see those things. Really has nothing to do with what I want to talk about today, but just that made an impression upon me watching all of that take place. And so this is something that I've been reading for a couple of weeks now. And so what happens is I read something and I think about it, and then I consider it, and then I kind of figure out what that looks like. And so it's a really simple verse, and it's actually out of Matthew chapter 14. And Herod is in charge right now. This is not the Herod who was trying to kill baby Jesus. It would be his son who is now in charge. And it says this in Matthew 14:1. He said he heard about the fame of Jesus. That's kind of the end of verse 1, is Herod heard of the fame of Jesus. Now, in order for that to happen, somebody or people had to be talking about Jesus. Up to this point in the ministry of Jesus, we know that he's done several miracles. He's changed people's lives. He's fed people with a sack lunch. He's walked on water. I mean, he's done some incredible things. And so naturally, people are talking about that stuff, and that's how somebody gets famous. But I want to make sure we understand, Jesus, his goal was never to be famous. His goal was to change lives. His goal was to come and seek and save the lost. But he became famous because people talked about him. And so Herod had heard of the fame of Jesus. John the Baptist ends up and loses his life because of all of that. You'll have to read a little bit of that on your own in Matthew 14. But I just started to think through just that idea of the fame of Jesus. And I wrote this down actually in my journal, and it says, what are you doing to make Jesus famous? I mean, it's really a pretty basic question. What are you doing to make Jesus famous? Well, you may be going, well, what does that look like? Well, I think honestly, there's a lot of ways to do it. I think just in our conversations, the name of Jesus should get in there. I think that when we're talking to people and they're having a rough time, this is the opportunity for us who are Jesus followers to remind them of Jesus, or to tell them how Jesus has helped us in a similar struggle. Again, we're making him famous. We're always going back to Jesus in the story. I think there's other ways that we can do it. I think our social media posts can definitely draw a good attention to Jesus. I think the way that we live our life, I think the way our marriages look, the way that we parent our kids, I think the way we walk in the hallways of school or our college campus can definitely bring fame to the name of Jesus Christ. And so the question, very simple this week, is what am I doing to make Jesus famous? What am I doing to make Jesus famous? I would challenge you to think about that and to consider that type of question. And then what can you do? You know, if you were here on Sunday, this past Sunday, we introduced the idea of follow and fish. Well, I want to follow Jesus. And my following of Jesus means the closer that I get to him, the more that I'm going to look like him, the more that I'm going to act like him, the more that I'm going to speak like him. And then when I start doing Jesus things, then I'm going to start fishing, and I'm going to go out, and as he says, I'm going to make you fishers of men. Now I'm going to go out again. I'm going to spread the fame of Jesus. I'm going to tell other people about that. Their lives are going to be changed. And then in turn, they become a disciple who also follows and fishes. That's the fame of Jesus that we want to spread. That's the thing that we're trying to do. And when I say we're trying to do this, there are so many churches in our area, surrounding area, Wabash, Grant County, Huntington County, Miami County, surrounding areas. There's plenty of churches that are trying to do this. It's not just a LaFountain Christian Church thing. It's a following thing. I'm following Jesus because I want to make him famous. So there you go. It's a simple midweek teaching, but it's a question that really has a lot of depth to it, I think. What am I doing today? What am I doing this week to make Jesus famous so that people hear about him? There you go. Hopefully that helps, or you'll think about it. Love you guys. Have a great day.